Wrong camera. Marissa didn't tell me how to fix that. Okay, I'm trying to switch cameras. Uh, some more. Hmm. Let me see what happens if I just unplug that camera. All right, I'm hanging up. I'm hanging up, Moo. Can you guys hear me? I had it. It wouldn't. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. All right. Picking the wrong camera again. That camera wasn't even listed. This is frustrating. Why is it doing this? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, thank y'all for being patient with me. And it's funny because I tested this out on YouTube, the setup on YouTube earlier today. So I am a hand spinner, and I'm just gonna do a spinning demo for you guys. And it's like my camera is like all wonky now. Everything's like wonky. So I don't know if I can get it to flip the screen or what. But yeah. So trying to get it to flip the screen, but it ain't gonna do it. So we'll just go from here. All right. So I'm a hand spinner and I spin tons of yarn. And I'm a process spinner. So I spin for spinning's sake. Um my daughter, Cozy Rissa, she told me about the Whatnot platform because I have a lot of hand spun yarn. And since I'm not knitting or crocheting with it, I need to just start letting other people put it in their lives and enjoy it. So I was going to do a spinning demo for you guys. And then over the next several days, I'll be adding more and more. I'll be adding. I gotta pause that. Hold up. There we go. I muted my laptop so I can try to see the chat. I just had eye surgery. I just had cataract surgery in both my eyes. So my vision is still adjusting. Okay. So can you still hear me, Marissa? I need to find my headphones. That's what I need to do. Okay. And put it on the headphones on the laptop that way I can listen to hear what I'm saying. And I hear them from the baby, which means I hear them from me. All right. Let me see if I can get my headphones plugged in to the laptop. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. So this is going to take some getting used to. So thank you guys for being patient. So today what I'm going to be spinning is some Falkland fiber that my husband and I dyed. And so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Um, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. So this fiber that I'm going to be spinning is some Falkland. It's one of my favorite fibers to spin. My absolute favorite fiber to spin, is Rambouillet. But this is some that my husband, he likes dyeing fiber with me. And so the colors are showing up pretty good. So this one was based off of Monet's water lilies. Just didn't get as much green as I would have wanted in there. But hey, beggars can't be choosy, huh? It was family fun time. So you just I'm just gonna try and find the end so I can pull this. It's just a crochet chain, as you can see, just unchain it. And how I prepare my fiber is I make nest out of it, which is I'll take the fiber and I'll separate it into sections by pulling apart like this. And this is comb top. I also have fleeces that I've purchased at different venues like Maryland Sheep and Wool, New York Sheep and Wool Festival, some local farms here in Virginia, and and um, and I have those fleeces as well all over the place. I can't move this camera that I'm using pointing down is a document camera, so if I move it, my computer might say it doesn't see the camera anymore. So then I separate the top even more. Like a top is made up of slivers that are pin drafted together, and you can separate out those different slivers. A top can have anywhere from 6 or 7 to 8 or more slivers, depending on how thin the slivers are. See, this two right here. And when a fiber is pin drafted, it aligns the fiber, gets all the fiber going in the same direction, makes it easier for it to be spun for the spinning mill. Anyway, since I'm a hand spinner, I can spin fiber that is hasn't been pin drafted, and it comes directly off the carder, which is my favorite type of prep. But like the pin drafted top does it doesn't felt as quickly. You have to be it's when you're dyeing it and stuff like that because it's thicker and more ropey, but it's still very very soft. So I'm gonna show you guys before I start spinning. I'm gonna show you guys, and I really thank you guys for coming by. Um, it's what they say, the best plans. And so I'm gonna show. Let me see. Oh, I forgot to go check. See, make sure it's not over there. See if it's over there. It is. It's on YouTube and it says live. So I'm not even gonna mess with the YouTube, but then I can't see what people saying over there. Take on it. I don't want to risk it getting knocking me off again. So I'm gonna show you guys some hand spun and and yeah, I'll use this bag and show you some things that you can make with hand spun. So if you're a knitter or crocheter, you can use hand spun. Hand spun is a little more expensive than box store yarns because it's all made by hand. But you can make shawls, baby clothes. Like this shawl is a shawl made from some of my hand spun. That is what I call a remnant skein, which is a skein. Like I have like over 20 bobbins, which this is the bobbin. And so sometimes I have like a little bit of yarn left here and there on different bobbins, and so I'll make a skein of yarn with that leftovers, and you can use it to make a multicolored project like a shawl or hat or anything like that. And so like in this yarn is some yarn that was dyed. Some of it is natural yarn as well. Like the brown is some natural spun. The blues was dyed by my husband and myself, like the purples. And so you can make lots of different projects with your the hand spun yarn, and you can pick and choose your colors and how you want them to be and everything like that. And then you can make special projects from it. Um, And like this is my favorite one. This little cardigan, baby cardigan. You got the multicolored um hand spun up here, and then you have this part which is a fawn, is a very light fawn alpaca, and then wool. So you have the wool to hold a project together, and then you have the alpaca that will give you the drape and the softness. So those are just some of the items that you can do with your hand spun. And if you're going to use hand spun for a project, then it's going to be a project that is what I call heirloom. If you want to make sure it's something that's going to last, um, something that's going to, that you're going to use over and over again and pass down. So like this is some Rami. It's Rami is a depends on the sheep, but typically it's a long wool, and it's softens with use and wear. It's not the like it doesn't bother me because any wool I like. But some people who have very sensitive skin, they wouldn't like the grist, the way it feels. So then it would be rough. And but it's typically very good to be used for like fingerless gloves, the body of a hat where you use a softer yarn for the hat band, or an outer jacket, a coat or jacket or something like that. And so this was like some blues, this yarn. And sometimes when I go to fiber festivals and stuff like that, I'll buy some fiber that's already been dyed and spin if I like the colorway, like this one right here. This was some fiber, Fragilus fibers, and some blue face Leicester. And I spun up, and this is a fingering weight yarn. And you can see all the different colors in that fiber. And I like to 3-ply the stuff that I spin so that it keeps the colors together. Some people like the barber pole fiber, but that's not my thing. As they say, the kids say, that's not my jam. And so yeah, so you can dye the wool any kind of colors you want, and then you can spin it. That's another thing about hand spun is that you have you can figure out your own colors how you want something. So let's get started. So I made these nests out of the yarn I just separated. And what you have to do now, you have to create what's called a leader. So basically, my wheel uses a hook. Some wheels use what's called an orifice, which is a hole uh, that you would put the yarn through. So what I'm doing now is I'm creating a leader to tie onto my bobbin. And it's just like doing an e-cast on onto a knitting needle. Is what I'm doing to tie this onto my bobbin. Some people actually tie it like they're trying to tie a knot. And so now I'm just going to spin until the bobbin, and you see my bobbin's not churning. That means that yarn isn't catching. So we're going to go and we're going to wrap it around. The SpongeBob would say, bring it around town, so that it'll catch on to that. And I got to check my tension, which is my tension device is right here. And I'm going to loosen my tension because I don't want it just snatching it out of my hand. So there we go. So now the bobbin is spinning. And I'll adjust my tension so I don't have as much drag. All right, so I need a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So as you're spinning, as you see I'm spinning, this triangular area here is the draft zone. and I spin worsted. That's the preferred way I like spinning. There's other ways you could spin, where you have a preparation that's very light and airy. It's a woolen prep, and you basically allow the twist to travel past your draft zone into the wool. You're just like you're just drawing it out so that you end up with a more airy yarn. I prefer worsted spinning. You get a stronger yarn, a harder wearing yarn. Did it freeze? Yeah, I just saw you said that the video froze. But it's not frozen on my computer though.
I know, but it's for I don't know what happened.
No, the fiber isn't in the store. The stuff that's in the store is yarn that's already been spun. Mm, come on. This just been a cursed day. And then that now it's trying. Oh, it's because I'm on my laptop. Never mind that. Uh, well, my arm is moving. It's unfrozen. Oh, okay, that was weird. All right. So what you're doing is you're drafting out the fiber, and you're pinching it. It uses kinetic energy. So as the bobbin spins, it's adding twist. You know, like when you were a kid and you take a rubber band and you twist it like that, or a string like you do the button thing, or like you do a yo-yo. That's kinetic energy, the energy of motion. And so behind your finger where you pinch, that twist, that energy is being stored in the yarn that's behind your fingers. Okay? And so as I release the twist, it travels into this draft zone. And as I'm releasing it, I'm also pulling back on the fiber to allow it to just go into a small section. And I smooth my yarn out while I'm spinning because I like worsted, a smooth preparation. And so I'm squeezing air out of that fiber while I'm spinning it. Now, if you don't have a wheel when you're learning to spin, you can also spin on what's called a drop spindle. And there are different types of drop spindles. Um, you have top whorl drop spindles, Turkish drop spindles, bottom whorl drop spindles, and you have a mid whorl drop spindle. You also have bead drop spindles. It's made out of you have a bead as the weight on the spindle. Um, there are people who have like these. It's called a supported spindle, where they have like a little bowl that the spindle sits in, and you spin it from that bowl. And those they usually make a really nice, a very fine lace with the supported drop spindles. Um, and before spinning wheels were invented, everything was spun on some type of drop spindle or bead spindle or support spindle. Spinning wheels have been around for thousands of years. The Chinese, I think the first ones that they found over in China in a tomb some of the oldest ones that's been found anyway. Um, so it's before spinning wheels, before the Industrial Revolution. This is all yarn was hand spun. That's why clothing was such a precious commodity back in the Middle Ages and beyond. Before that, that's why most people only had one or two garments, complete garments to wear, because of how long and time consuming preparing the wool, preparing the flax, preparing the hemp, preparing whatever it was, your linen, your cotton, whatever those clothes were going to be made out of. It was very time consuming, and that's why clothing was such a precious thing. Um, like a woman, she might have one dress that she had to patch and take care of most of her life. So that dress had drawstrings on the sleeves, drawstrings at the neckline, drawstring something at the waist, so that that garment could be let out when she was pregnant and then pulled back in when, after she had a baby, lost weight or whatever. So your garment had to last you damn near a lifetime for some people, for the poor. I have what is it called? The Nano. Yeah. For when we travel and stuff. This is a travel wheel. Um and so I used to take it with me whenever we would go somewhere on vacation or something like that. But I have a Nano now because it's in a little small box, so I'll take it with me when we go places now because I can just attach it to the um, battery charger and stuff like that. So she's chirping. My wheel is chirping because I need to change out the. She has sealed bearings, um, and it's been a long time since before COVID since those bearings were changed out in here. But I always tell people that spinning saved my life because I was stressed out. I've always been fascinated by spinning wheels. When I was a child, there were some people that had them in their houses. They had like old walking wheels in their barns and stuff. And I look at all the history that's been lost from my generation and before my generation. Like, those old walking wheels, they took them and they broke them up and used them for firewood and clean out the barns and stuff. And to them, it was something that was useless and worthless. Nobody used it anymore. Nobody knew how to use it. And they were destroyed. Um, it's crazy. When you think about all the hands that touched that wheel, all the clothes, all the fiber that was spun on that wheel, you know, babies, christening gowns, all the things that was done with that wheel. It's amazing. So what I do now is it's like a subconscious. I don't even think about it. I just do it. What I'm doing is I'm changing the peg to move the fiber along. They have devices called woolly winders, and Spinolution has a device that's similar to a woolly winder. It's just that my wheel is older, so the device doesn't fit on my wheel. I would have to get a new flower head, so I have to save up for that, and then I'll be able to use the automatic winder that will basically move the fiber up and down the bobbin. I won't have to stop to move it along the pegs. So, Ghost, what do you do with your hand spun? I have a drop spinner collection. I have, I think, like 70 some drop spinners. And every time I go to Maryland Sheep and Wool, I bring home 2 more drop spindles. I love drop spindles. I also am a big fan of he's over on Etsy. I'm trying to think of the name. Uh, but I buy spindles from him a lot. They're up on top of the bookcase, and I'm short. I'm only like 5'4", and my husband, he's not home right now, so he would have to reach and get them down for me. But I did a video over on my YouTube that of my spindle drop spindle collection. It's a small collection compared to what some people have. Like I have 2 wheels. I have this one. I have a Margicraft. I also have a heavy hand spinning electric spinner. I have another one that was made by some company. My friend, a friend of a friend, had it, and I bought it from her. And then I have my little Nano, and then I got the 70 drop spinner. So it's good. So for anybody over on YouTube watching, you know what? I can actually put this on YouTube on my laptop since I got this working over here on my computer. So give me a second. Uh, all right, there we go. Hey, my YouTube peoples, what's up? What's up? Hey, Auntie Mama. Oh, let me pause it. Oh, it's like I have my headset. I'm good. Katrina Crochet Hooks and Loops. I Kelly, I bring it every day. Miss Darcia. All right. That's pretty cool, Marissa. It has the YouTube on YouTube. It has a video overlay of Whatnot QR code. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Nah, I can't see the screen. Yeah, like I said, I I had my first surgery on my left eye was in November the 13th, and then I had the cataract surgery on my right eye October the 1st. So my eyes are still adjusting. The swelling is still going down in my right eye. So my vision is still a little blurry. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's funny that our mom joined, but then again, like if you switch on a different device, it says you've joined. So like that's strange. I'm hoping to try to get the OBS thing set up so that I'll be able to have like the forward facing camera and the document camera pointing down at my wheel for days when I'm spinning, so y'all can see my face, and I'll be adding more items to the shop. Like I'm learning how to put, like my daughter teaching me how to do that stuff, like to add it to the stream and stuff. Like the next stream, I have items in the product thing. I'll be adding more yarn, more to hand spun, because I have bags of hand spun, hundreds of skeins of hand spun. I've been spinning for a while, and I can usually like every other month I'll be adding like 20 more skeins of yarn to my hand spun stash. So yeah, like I said, it's spinning for me it's the thing I like. I crochet and I knit, but and I know how to do basic weaving, but I prefer spinning. Yeah, just the act of spinning. Hi TM, how are you today? Yeah, some people are frustrated. It was crazy because that stupid minicam. I haven't used that thing in years, but for some reason, Whatnot kept trying to pull up the minicam as the camera, even though I clicked on this camera, that's the one that I'm using. Even though I had clicked on it as the camera I wanted to use, it kept going back to that minicam. So I uninstalled the minicam, and then it wants to use the UCam instead of using the USB camera, which is what I wanted it to use. So I'm like, whatever, at least it's working now. All that drama for nothing. Okay. So over on YouTube, Katrina is getting her little one ready for bed. I'm pretty sure that OBX has a thing where, the chat scrolls and stuff. All right. So I'm gonna show y'all what I would do. You want to pretend that's a full bobbin. Okay. A full bobbin looks like this. So this wheel has a built-in onboard what's called a lazy cape to hold your bobbins and fiber. So then I would take an empty bobbin and put it on the wheel. There's a little bit of yarn left on it. I would take this yarn. I'm going to be doing what's called chain pline or Navajo pline. So I'm going to make a loop. And this is called a spun single because it's just one ply of yarn. So I'm going to take my loop, open it up. There we go. And it's just like it's hand crocheting. So you're going to take it and you're going to pull it through the loop. And what this does is it takes one strand of hand spun and turns it into a 3-ply yarn. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same way we tied it on when we did our leader. I'm going to tie this onto the bobbin to ply. Now when I spun the yarn, I was spinning it clockwise. When you ply your yarn, you want to spin it in the opposite direction. So I'll be spinning counterclockwise. And those are the different twists. Like you have the S twist and the Z twist. And I believe the S twist is clockwise and the Z twist is counterclockwise. No, S twist is spun counterclockwise. All right, and Z twist is used for left-handed twill. According to Google. Yeah, so Z twist is spun clockwise and S twist is counterclockwise. So you have to adjust your tension to get it to draw onto the bobbin. Some of my bobbins don't like being spun the wrong other direction. There we go. And so what you're doing now is you're basically untwisting your fiber that you just spun. But you're also adding twist to that fiber in the opposite direction, which balances out the yarn. So it's not over twisted. And what I would do with this after I finish plying it is then you wash it. Some people let it rest. And then they wash it. And then when you wash it, you use a wool wash or if you're spinning in the fleece, in the grease, it's like this. Let me mute this because that's why I keep pausing, because it's bugging me. Hold up. All right, there we go. So if you're spinning in the grease, which means spinning the fiber with the lanolin still on the fiber for wool, alpacas, they don't have lanolin. They're a hair animal. Um, so you could use like the original Dawn or some other type of soap, or you could buy what's called wool wash, which has been designed for getting the excess lanolin and dirt and stuff out of the wool. But you would wash it, and you don't want to agitate it. You're basically soaking it, gently squeezing it, because this is wool, so it will felt. This isn't it's not superwash, which has been chemically treated to flatten the scales out so that the wool has less ability to felt or cling to itself. Um, so the wool I'm spinning will felt, so it can be used for felted projects as well. And usually when you buy fiber, it'll say on the fiber whether or not it was superwash fiber that you're purchasing to spin. So almost finished applying this little bit that I spun up. This is like a sample. There sometimes you'll spin a little bit of a fiber to sample it, to see how it knits up, to see what the stitch definition looks like, to see how that fiber, if it's gonna poof up a little bit, fluff up, become more softer and airy for you. And so you just spin up a little sample that you're going to be using in a project. So let's say you're making a sweater or socks or whatever, what have you, and you just want to see how that wool is going to look in a crocheted or knitted garment. And so you just do like a little sampling of the fiber of the wool, the yarn that you made, to see if it's what you want, or if you see, like, let's say like I'm spinning worsted, and you decide, well, I like it, but I want it even finer. So I want it instead of being in a sock weight fingering yarn, I want it to be lace weight. Or I really want to use it to make some bulky hats or something like that. Like, you can make the yarn as thin or thick as you want it to be, and you can plait as many strands as you want to make a thicker yarn. I tend to spin fingering weight yarn. That's what makes me happy. I don't have to think about it. And I rarely spin worsted yarn, because I have to actually physically, consciously think about what I'm doing, which makes it not fun or enjoyable for me. I do this for me, and other people get the benefit from what I do. All right, so now that it's spun and plied, we would take this off onto a nitty knotty. I'm gonna use my little nitty knotty, which is here. So we take it off the flyer, put it on my cape, put this up here so I don't lose it. And so this is a nitty knotty. This one is just 1 yard. And the guy that I got my 3D printed bobbins from, he sent me this as a gift. So you're basically going to go around. Let me see if I can. Okay. Like this. And so you're making a skein of yarn. And I use leftover yarn from other projects that's not enough really to use in a scrap project. But I use leftover yarn to tie off my skeins with. So it's, reusing stuff. You're not letting it go into the garbage and go into the landfill. You find other uses for that fiber. Okay. Let me go grab some. So I have a little Ziploc bag that I put my little odds and ends from projects in that I use to tie up the hand spun. Some of it might be a little too short, and those you can add to amigurumis or other soft, like little lubbies or whatever you want to call them things that you make. You can add it to those to stuff them with, and so that way it ends up being used as stuffing and excuse me, stays out of the trash as well. And so I'm just gonna tie this skein up. Like these strings are longer, so you just take your scissors and cut them down. I typically, if this was my full size nitty knotty, I do 8 ties because I don't want when you take it off the nitty knotty or when you're getting ready to cake it up, put it on your umbrella swift or whatever. I don't want it to people to end up with a mess. I want them to always have control over that fiber and that yarn. And when they take those ties off, I want them to have enough ties that they can get this yarn positioned how they want it before they take that tie off. And so they don't have to worry about ending up with a big unholy mess that ends up in the garbage. So this, you just twist it and there you have a mini skein of hand spun yarn that you can use in a blanket, one of those what they call those sock yarn blankets or something like that. And the way you can compare, you can take your yarn and you can hold it beside a commercial yarn that's considered whatever the weight that your favorite commercial yarn is to determine whether or not your yarn is close. Or they have gauges where you can do a gauge of your yarn where you're spinning. Here's mine. And it'll tell you how thick your yarn is. It'll tell you pretty much, where your gauge is at. So you find which one that it sits in, where it completely covers the line. which tells you basically your wraps per inch. And so this was 30 wraps per inch. And so then you go to your handy dandy wraps per inch chart. Which, do I have it? Let me see. I don't know if I put my wraps per inch chart in here. No, I didn't. I used to have an app. I actually still do it. It's on my old iPhone. So superfine is 14 to 30 wraps per inch, but this hasn't been washed, so this is going to be more than likely a fine yarn once it's washed. Finger and weight. So there you have it. And that concludes, even with all our technical difficulties, that concludes our spinning demo for today. Next time, hopefully I'll have the lighting, it'll be better for you guys. We won't have any technical difficulties, and I have learned enough about the Whatnot platform to have some items and the products in the shop and stuff for y'all to look at. So you can also find me at She Spins on She Spins everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, that's where you can find me for other things. So thank you guys for coming by. I enjoyed speaking with you guys. Thank you, Marissa, for being my mod. And for those of you who don't know, and those of you over on YouTube, Marissa, Cozy Rissa, is my youngest daughter. That's the one I call Moo. Because she used to have this little onesie that had this cow on the front of it, and it had the word Moo all over the little onesie. That's how she got her nickname. So yeah, so thank you guys so much. Take care. And I hope to see you, and I'll see you guys next week. So I'll be on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. So I'll see you guys next week. So take care.